don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. God, my desk is so messy. It's even messy by my standards. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'll turn over to my overhead camera and I'll show you what's in front of me, and I'll tell you what my kind of thought processes are, or not, as the case may be, because it's going to be one of those days where I'm going to do something, but I've got no idea what it's going to look like, what it's going to turn out like. I only know at the end of it, I'm going to have 2 pieces. Okay, so these are 2 of the art journal pages that I did recently. I said I was going to do them loose leaf because I hadn't created a journal cover for them. So that's pretty much what I want to achieve today. So I've got 2 of these loose leaves. They're 8 inches by 9 inches. So that inch that's folded over there is meant to be some kind of mechanism for binding. So what I've done is I've cut 2 pieces of grey board, which are taken from the back of one of my watercolour cardstock pads, and I've literally just cut it to the same size as the pages that are going to be in them. So this is kind of like the dilemma today, is how do I decorate them? I've sat down, I've got all this mess in front of me, I've got paints that are still out from previous projects, I've got spritzers that are out from previous projects, I've got glue that are out from previous projects, but no real idea as to how I want to decorate or how I'm actually going to bind these 2 covers together. Now the easiest way to do it, easiest way to do it is to punch holes in them and put book rings in, either 2 or 3 book rings. But I've done that before, and that's not really what I want to do. I did think about maybe doing the Chicago posts, I think they're called Chicago screws, that you get in scrapbooks, but that would involve me cutting that inch off and rebinding it together again with duct tape or whatever, so I've got that kind of flexible fold. But I'd only do that on one, I'd only do that on the front. So I'm not really sure, to be honest, how I'm going to do that. So before I do the front one, I'm going to do the back, because even if I do it that way, cut it and then reattach it, the back would stay rigid anyway. So the back's going to be the first one that I do. So do I cover it with paper and then stamp and add bits of ephemera onto it, or do I paint and stamp and add bits of ephemera, or do I stamp onto bits of dictionary text, cut them out and then stick them down and then add colour to them? I'm not really, yeah, it's one of those days when I'm kind of like, I just need to start, I need to do something, but I don't just want to go straight ahead and start throwing paint down until I've got some kind of idea as to what I need to do. Now perhaps I need to cover this in some paper first of all. Maybe I need to cover it in white paper, and I've got some white, look at the luxury cardstock with a linen texture. Lovely. There's 2 colours, there's cream and there's white. So perhaps I need to cover the front in the linen and then start adding. Do you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. Like I've just talked myself into doing it. One of those kind of days when you think, do you know, I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to do whatever comes to mind as you do it. So let's just do that then. So I've got my trimmer. So we need to cut it at 9 inches by 8 inches. So we'll go 9 inches there. Hopefully. And this is still my old trimmer, because I'm not really sure where my new one is. 9 by 8. So let's do that. Just drop that down on the floor for now. So that should be, yeah, okay. Should I do both sides? Let's just stick one down first. And I'm going to use wet glue. Or should I use spirit glue, because that's not going to, it's not going to buckle if I use spirit glue. I'll just have to persevere now, which is, that's the linen side. So that is the smooth side. There's the linen side at the other side. So let's cover this. I do apologise for not having a plan. But sometimes you guys have commented that you like it when I'm not really sure about what I'm doing, and you like to hear my thought process. So this is one completely and utterly devoid of any kind of plan whatsoever. Okay, so let's drop that down. And we'll try and, hopefully, I've got it the right shape and size. Look at that. Pristine, clean and white. Or thereabouts. I'm a little bit off down there. That's probably when I've cut the grey board. So obviously it's not going to stay pristine, clean and white. It's probably not going to stay white at all. Okay, so shall I do the inside as well at the same time? Do you know, I might as well. Seeing as how I've got everything out, I may as well do the other side. See, I'm already second guessing myself, thinking, well, if I do the inside and I start spritzing and throwing colour around, it's all going to dribble onto the inside and get all dirty and mucky. But do you know what? That's part of the process, and that's part of the actual thing. So should I be too upset about that? No, I shouldn't really, because that could just be the inside. That's what the inside looks like. Okay, so I will just get on with that for a second. My phone's ringing, so I need to answer that. So I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. That was one of the nurses that goes in to see Dad, just giving me an update on his condition. Anyway, while I was talking, I just glued on that second sheet. So now we've got a front and a back, which is perfect. So I've pulled out some more sheets from one of those old dictionaries. I'm hoping that's in focus, because on my screen it doesn't look like it's pretty sharp. Let's see whether that does any good. Let's try and turn on autofocus, but it also affects the exposure. Yeah, you can read that now. Anyway, so dictionary pages. I've also got some more remnants of that, of the Colour Me ephemera. But I've still got some left of. This is actually going really, it seems to be lasting forever and ever and ever, which is really good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some of those bits as well. So stick those down, and then I'm going to stamp onto the dictionary pages, cut those out, and then stick those down as well. Or am I going to cut them out? I might just stamp. No, I think I will cut them out as well. So the first thing I want to do though is just add in some background imagery or texture on this. If I'm going to be putting some of the ephemera down, I want something behind it, if you know what I want, if you know what I mean. So what I've done is I've got this script stamp. It's a really old one from IndigoBlu. I lost the... No, I haven't lost it. It's there, look. Aha, so it's not an orphan one. So script SB1. There you go. Very, very old. So that's what I'm going to use just to add a bit of background texture. Actually, it's falling off there. It's that old. Look, it's lost most of its moisture from the back. So we'll just ink that up, and then I'll just place it down. Now, usually the places where you don't get it, as in you don't normally stick things up in the corners, so it's a good way of getting your coverage, because if you don't get your corners, then at least you've got something in there. And I'm using Stays On from Sukiniko. A, because I love the smell, but it's a solvent one, so which means that if I add watercolours over the top of this by spritzers or whatever, then it's not going to react. And I'm just going to cover, not everywhere, but just like the four corners and the middle. I'll probably get away with just doing that then. That should do. So that'll do for that. I can put that to one side. I'll just give that a wipe. And that was the last one, so I'm going to have to grab some more. There we go. That'll do. That will do. Okay, so now let's get some of that ephemera, and I can start sticking some of that down. So bearing in mind this is the back, not the front of the journal. So I'm doing the back first. So let's start by adding bits of those in. I can just layer these over. I'm not too bothered if they start to curl up at the edges, it just adds a little bit of texture to it. You see where I'm just adding it on, so you get that bit of, I could actually go right to the edge. I think I will. That'll be a good way actually of disguising any bits. So I'll do another one down here in the corner. Let's use this cell bit. So where I've not cut the exact correct shape and size, I can disguise that. Let's go right into the corner. Just by adding that ephemera right up to the edge. And then I can break that up later. Right, we need some verticals now, so let's add in this directions for cake. Because, you know, cake. So when I created these Colour Me ephemera pieces, I didn't realise just how useful they would be, even for me, and how far that they actually would stretch. As in, how much you'd actually get out of them. Because there's, you know, there's a lot. Right, so everything's still facing the right way. Oh no, you can still read it. It's all horizontal. So I'm going to turn a little bit on the side just to create a bit of vertical kind of eye movement. I'm not going to add all the pieces on. I want to save some to add on again after I've added on my stamping. But let's just break. Now let's put that there. There we go. And maybe one other small piece. Got this kind of postage one that want to add. And then I shall show a little bit of restraint. Bridge that gap there. I'm going to show a little bit of restraint and not add any more ephemera pieces just yet. I should have turned that the other way around so it was reading the other way, but never mind. Okay, so stamping. Let me just move that to one side and bring out some of that. Now I've got Tim Holt Stampers Anonymous Classics number 5, SCF005. So I want to add this girl onto the front. So will she fit on my block? Yes, she will. Lovely. And we'll use the same ink. There we go. So we'll use that stays on again. Just because I'm not using the stamp press, because I'm not bothered if it's not a perfect impression. Not bothered at all. So we'll start at the top and just drop that down. Give it a bit of a push and then see what happens. It's kind of subtle, too subtle actually, so I'm not happy with that. I will use the stamp press then. See, I thought I would get away with that, but I ain't. So luckily I've got plenty of other sheets. So let's drop that down. There, there and there. And then that one in the corner. That should hold it. Now then, let's drop her. Oh, I like that. We've got Knickerbocker down there, look. Like that. Okay. Because it's a solvent one, it's a bit stickier, so it will kind of lift. Come on, straighten up. There we go. Right, let's get that inked up. And the colour I'm using is just jet black, by the way. I may move on to one of the browns, the Ganache or the spiced chai. Here we go. Give it a push and let's see what kind of impression we're at. We'll get a similar kind of impression there, so it's not really, really heavy. But we'll go again. I don't think it's the ink pad. Or at least I'm hoping it's not the ink pad because it's fairly new. That's better. That's much better. It just needed another fertile. Okay, so she can come off. Just pop her to one side because I need to give her a clean. And then I'll just quickly cut her out. I'm going to leave just a tiny little border, or where I can. I'm going to go right up to the line. And because it's a straight edge of the image, I don't have to follow that if I don't want to. So I can give her a little bit of a forehead. Right, so So let's bring that back, and I want to stick her in there. So let's get that glue. Do I? Do you know what? No, I'm going to cut that off. We're allowed to change our minds mid-flow. There we go. Right. Let's get that stuck down. Again, go right up to the edge. That's better. Just gently push it down. Yes, like that. And then I can take one of the other bits of ephemera, just this little ref piece here. Just whip off those edges. Okay, grab some glue. And then even though we've got that piece there, actually I might just break it up by putting it there. There we go. Okay, so now I want to add another stamped piece on. Now then, I did have, remember when I did the Get Well card for Dad, I'd stamped a butterfly and an air balloon, or a hot air balloon. I don't know where the butterfly's gone, but the balloon I've still got. So I think I might actually stick that down there. I had them both about 5 minutes ago, but the butterfly seems to have vanished. It's flown away. Our house is like that. You can put something down and go back 10 seconds later and it's gone. It's nowhere to be seen. It's got a life of its own, this house. Right. Here we go. Like that. So where did that butterfly go to? I don't know. I'll probably find it on the floor later. Knowing me. Because, you know, that's just the way that I roll. Right, so the next bit that I want then, I want to add some of these square pieces. These bits as well, which I like. So I'm going to add that eye one, which is just a square piece, and I don't think I'm going to need to get the stamp platform out for that. So let's get that inked up. Okay, so what have we got? Let's just add it down there at the bottom. Give it a good push. And just hope and pray. Ah, yes. Perfect. Perfectamundo. Okay, so let's get that cut out. These little fragment stamps are really useful because they're small. You know, you could stamp a repeating pattern set out of almost anything and then stick them to the front of a card or on a journal or ATCs or whatever. And they're just such a good image to use. Okay, so I'm going to add that down there. And we'll add one more, I think, and I'm going to use those lips. Those ones. Me likey those. Again, it's a square, so I'm going to put those up here. And again, let's grab the dictionary page and give that a push. And with any luck, there we go. Ian's downstairs in his workshop and I've just heard him sneeze. He's obviously been sanding. He should wear a mask. I stopped reminding him after about the 100th time. Okay, so turn that over. Come on, glue. I've said this a million times, I really need to find some of this spirit glue that comes in a finer applicator. It'd be a lot easier. There we go. So we do need a little bit of something back in the middle. Do we though? Do we though? Do we though? Maybe if I just add that in, because I did say about adding some bits and pieces over the top. I do like that, to the exits. There is also one that says stage door on it, on one of the sheets. Let's use that ref one again. Whip off those corners. I think the trick to something like this is just keep looking at your layout, and if there's any kind of visual gaps or opportunities, just add something in. So my brain was telling me that it needed something up there. I want to add another stamped image, but I haven't got anything small enough really. Let me see if I've got another stamp set somewhere that I could maybe utilise. Ah, there we go. What's this? The Professor. The light bulb. Well, you know, we are doing steampunky things at the moment, aren't we? Well, supposed to be. Let's add that light bulb in. So again, just grab dictionary page. That should be enough. Okay, so this might take a little bit more cutting out, so let's make it easy. Let's not go all the way to the edge. Just whip around really quick. Try and keep your fingers off the ink. Don't think I'm going to be able to. I just hope I don't smudge it or smear it. Because we're going to be adding colour over the top anyway, or that's the plan. Should have dried enough now. You don't really have to go mad with being really accurate, because because you're going to disguise the edges. You start adding colour anyway. There we go. Yeah, I think that. It kind of mirrors that shape, doesn't it? Do we need anything else from there? Do I need to add a top hat? That'd be fun. Right, let's try that one then. Put you back on there. Up, grab a piece of dictionary paper and let's just stick you down in there. Right, I'm going to try and keep as close to the edge there as I can, but I'm not bothered about the top, because I'm going to layer this over the top of one of those images. I kind of want it just to look as though it's sitting there, like it is properly grounded, but the rest of it isn't really necessary. I'll do. So you can tell I'm doing this just off the cuff, can't you? Okay. Do. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that for the moment. So I'm just going to have a quick tidy up, make sure all the stamps get put back into their right places and that I don't forget or lose any, and then I'll be back. Okay, so that's pretty much had a few minutes to dry. Now, Christmas last year, Ian bought me this, the Antiquarian sticker book. So it's got over 1,000 stickers in it, but also has a set of alphabets or letters, typography, whatever you want to call it, in the back of the book. So when you go through, it's got all the letters. So I've come to the M page because I want to add the letter M onto here, because this is mine. So I'm going to just gently peel that off, and it's got a little bit of colour to it, but that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add that onto there for no other reason than I can. Going to give it a bit of a push. Okay, it's subtle enough that when you add colour over the top, it's not going to be it's not going to be too overwhelming. Okay, so now it's time to add some colour. Bearing in mind I've not done the inside yet. Right, so I've got some of these vivid ink sprays from IndigoBlu that contain mica. So I'm just going to give them a quick shake up just to revitalise the mica inside so that it's not. That's it, you can see it as soon as you start shaking it up. And they are water reactive again, so once you've added these onto your project you can do kind of like the ghosting thing on top of them as well. Just give each one a shake up. Now these bottles are unique as far as I'm aware in the market because they don't have those tubes that go down to the bottom. You see how most bottles have the plastic tube that suck and dredge everything up from the bottom. These don't have them, so they don't clog in the same way. Okay, so that's that one. We've got Sweetest Summer Peach. I've got Whiskers on Kittens, so we've got copper. We've got a nice peachy colour. I've got a nice bright yellow, Catch a Moonbeam. I've got Blue Satin Sashes, which is obviously going to be a blue colour. And then we've got Raindrops on Roses. Whiskers on Kittens, Raindrops on Roses, yes. Blue Satin Sashes. There's a theme here, isn't there? Oh look, this one's called A Drop of Golden Sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, just spritz this colour on. Now I'm going to just do it at an angle. Look, there we go. Now because some of the images that I've used are printed, as in they're stamped, that's fine. Some of the images I've used have been printed on a laser printer, so will kind of resist a little bit. Now because I've got the blue, I'm going to be adding yellow, which is also going to mix and make a nice kind of green too. Okay, so that's Catch a Moonbeam. Let's try some of the Golden Sun. That is a bit more browny, which is fine, so I'm just going to add some of that colour over the top. Let it dribble a little bit. Whiskers on Kittens, which is going to be a bit more coppery. Ooh. I'm obviously not doing this at the right angle. That's better. Look at those copper tones coming through. And then I'm going to spritz a bit of the red. I haven't used this one yet, so that's it. Down at the bottom. And I'm going to let that sit for a little while before I start cleaning up. Okay, so I allowed this to dry naturally, but I have cleaned my workspace, and as you can see, look at that shine that you get from those vivid sprays. Now, one of the things I did want to just show you with these, the mica in these ink sprays will lay on the surface. The colour will drip through and drop down, but the actual mica sits on the surface. Now, if there's an area that's a bit too heavy, can you see where you've got the mica here on the light bulb? You see where it's all shiny and it's hiding some of the image. All you do is just take a little bit of a baby wipe and just gently, very, very gently, just stroke with your finger. And you see, there's just a little bit coming off. But what it does, it just lifts the mica so you can see the image underneath. You can leave it on the rest of the background, but if you want to lift some of it off, just give it a very, very light stroke with a baby wipe, and it'll just bring it back. Just like that. But I'm happy with the way that looks. So what I want to do now is just go around the edge, trying to darken those four sides, and to do that I'm just going to use Vintage Photo. Just the usual standby. I've got a distress foam in there, and then I'm just going to go around the edge. Just to darken it down, because when it's dried it may have just lifted off a little bit, but that's okay. There we go. I think I'm fairly happy with that as a base for the back of my new 8-inch journal, but that will be probably the back cover, and I'm sure I probably will get round to doing the front in the next day or two. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me have an experiment and a play with those sprays and with stamps and with that ephemera to a kind of nice effect, I think. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.